Hi everybody. Today's video is a 1-week litter update for these Australian Labradoodles. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and in today's video we are going to tell you all about the 6 boys from our 2-a-T litter of Australian Labradoodle puppies. This is Tippy's first litter and it is Tig's first litter, and they gave us this rainbow of colors and this variety of patterns in their first litter, and it is such an adorable litter. So we're going to go through each of the puppies today. You'll see they've all lined up very nicely for you. I didn't do this, they did it all on their own. We're going to give you an update on their weights, what the milestones are that they've accomplished this week, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Tippy. So we're going to start off with Tippy. You can see, as usual, Tippy is totally relaxed. She's adapted herself to me being in the whelping box with her, and she even has her leg up over top of me because little red collar boy here is going, hee hee, I have the entire milk bar to myself. And because he's one of the smaller puppies, this is something he's going to take advantage of on a regular basis. So you'll often see red collar, black collar, and light blue collar on Tippy together, and the other 3 snoozing. And it's just amazing how they all take turns to make sure everybody's doing well. And then of course we make sure that this is actually happening on their own, that the puppies are doing this by weighing them every day to ensure that everybody's gaining weight consistently and in the same proportion to one another. So you can see Tippy's totally relaxed. You see she's using the pig rail here in the whelping box to rest her head. And the reason for these pig rails all around the whelping box is that so a puppy cannot be squished up against the box by mom. Because even though mom is well aware of her puppies, when she lays down, dogs are not always able to figure out that, oh, there's a puppy behind me and I'm squishing him. It's one of the strange things, I guess, about mama dogs. Sometimes in the night we still get up because we'll hear a puppy crying, and that's because it's wandered off over to one side of the whelping box and is having trouble finding their way back to Tippy. So you would think a mama dog would go pick that puppy up and carry it over, because certainly they can carry their puppies and move them around. We have had some mama Labradoodles who like to take their puppies, pick them up, and move them out of the box. It's very frustrating when they do that because, of course, it's not good for the puppies because then they're on the floor, they can't get any purchase with their legs, and it's also not as warm. So we don't like to see girls doing that, and generally that just means they need some more calcium. So it's an easily resolved problem, although we did have one girl who just always insisted that she would move the puppies to where she felt they should be. So we ended up just accommodating her and making the bed out in the area where she wanted to be. She didn't like the whelping box, and so that was fine. So it's always going with what the dog is telling you, and you can try to change things, but if you're unsuccessful, then you need to stop, listen to what the dog is telling you by their actions. Watch them, get to know them, and just realize there's no point in trying continually to insist they do something if they're absolutely not going to do it. So you can see Tippy is doing a great job with her puppies. You can see we have lots of plump little bodies here. Now this is the biggest puppy in the litter, Mr. Silver Collar, and he is beside the smallest puppy in the litter, which is Mr. Black Collar. And you can see this puppy is this wide in his girth, which is probably about 2.5, almost 3 inches, and little Black Collar is just barely over an inch. So a huge difference in size between him and the other puppies, particularly between the big and the smallest in this litter. And a poor little Black Collar, he's saying, you know what, buddy, your head is almost as heavy as my whole self, so why don't you find somewhere else to rest your head and I'll put my head on you. So you'll see Tippy is doing cleanup there. So Tippy's very good. The puppies are absolutely immaculate. They're completely spotless. Her bed is always spotless. She does a wonderful job of keeping the puppies tidy all the time. And you can see Tippy herself, she has a little bit of a dirty face, and that's because it's been absolutely pouring rain on Vancouver Island for several days now. We have a special weather condition called an atmospheric river. So that and dogs are not really good friends. And this little mama dog, this Labradoodle named Tippy, oh my goodness, does she love water. She goes outside and she roars through all of our mini lakes that we have on the property at the moment. She just tears through them. She splashes everything up. She rolls in the mud puddles. She digs in the mud puddles. She puts her ball in the mud puddle and then digs like crazy. She puts her head under the water and goes blows bubbles. She just has an enormous time entertaining herself in the water. So that then necessitates quite a bit of cleanup and drying off before she comes back into the puppies. While I'm not worried about the actual dirt aspect with the puppies, I don't want the puppies to come in and have a wet mama dog that they're nursing from and then they are getting chilled. Because these little puppies are still 100% dependent on Tippy. They still cannot eliminate on their own, they still can't see, they can't hear, and they still cannot regulate their body temperatures. So it's very important that we keep everything warm and dry in here for the puppies. Now some Labradoodle breeders and other dog breeders, they don't let their mama dogs go out and get dirty or run around or do anything. That goes against my basic philosophy and principle. I think that that's creating a false bubble and does not allow the puppies to have immunity, and it's also not good for the mama dog's mental health. When Tippy was ready to start going outside and running around again, we'd let her. Now we don't let her go crazy and run and run and run. She doesn't want to in any event, but were she inclined, we would not let her over-exercise. Because as you can see, she's still working really hard here. She's still got a really nice, good milk bar. So this is a lot of work for a mama dog. Now you'll see she's panting. She's not panting because she's working so hard. She's panting because it's still quite warm in here. We have the heater on still, so it's still about 23 degrees in here. I've turned the heater down to 22, but I think from our thermometer it's showing me that it's a little bit closer to 23 than to 22. So this mama is working really hard. She's eating just over 2 pounds of raw food a day. She has a calcium supplement, and then her other vitamin supplements we give her are all sourced in Canada, and they are all organic and natural. There's many different types of vitamins available, and our mama dogs need to have the highest and most natural quality that we can get. We don't use any of the synthetic or foreign sourced vitamins for our mama Labradoodle dogs or for our stud dogs. So we make sure that we use a Canadian company, and we use a Canadian company that uses Canadian products, because that's what makes us feel safest and where we feel is best for our dogs. So, and speaking of that, when you're looking at a raw dog food, it's really important that you read the ingredients. I saw a post from another breeder who also weans their puppies to raw the other day, and they were using a food that is made actually in British Columbia, and it's not one that is available here on Vancouver Island, at least not that I'm aware of. And so I quickly checked out their recipe to see what their recipe was. And the first ingredient on their beef recipe is trim. This is not an acceptable level of quality to be feeding your dogs at any stage, and it's particularly not advisable for puppies or for lactating mama dogs. Trim is the scrap and what's left over from when the butcher is cutting up the protein for human consumption. That's not what you want to be feeding your dog. If your dog was out in nature eating on their own and we weren't feeding them, they wouldn't be taking an animal and eating just the trim and leaving all of the quality cuts for someone else. They would be eating everything. There's nothing wrong with some trim, but you want the bulk of the protein to be muscle meat. So in a beef dinner, muscle meat needs to be what's being fed, not beef trim. It's also very high in fat, and too much fat can cause pancreatitis in a dog. So that's another thing we want to avoid. And for puppies, as they're growing and developing, they need to have very high levels of protein. They need to have extra calcium. So it's really important that they're getting a quality raw food and not being fed one that is comprised of trim, or if it's turkey and chicken, that the meat is not being mechanically deboned from the bird. So just something to keep in mind. For those of you who are getting a puppy from Van Isle Doodles, you will learn lots about raw food. We have lots of educational videos we'll share with you, lots of information that we'll share with you in our Zoom meetings that we do, so that you understand how raw feeding works, what you need to avoid, and what you need to do to make sure that your puppy is getting everything they need to develop well, and that your adult dog is being maintained well. So now let's go through the fun part, all of the puppies. So in this litter of 6, half of the puppies have doubled their birth weight. Yay, that's amazing. Way to go, Tippy. That's wonderful in the first week to have birth weights double. And the other half are just a couple of 1/100ths of a gram off. So in essence, all these puppies have doubled their birth weights. And that's the important thing. It's not the fact that Mr. Silver Collar weighs more than Mr. Black Collar. It's the fact that Mr. Silver Collar doubled his birth weight, and so did Mr. Black Collar. Because as I said earlier, we always want to be sure that the small puppies in the litter are getting equal opportunity at the milk bar and gaining just as well as the larger puppies are. Because you can imagine that when Mr. Silver Collar is on the milk bar, it's very hard for Mr. Black Collar to get in there and knock him off or knock him out of the way so he can get easy access to his spot at the milk bar. So that's what we're always looking for. And also with smaller puppies, we always want to be sure that everything is moving along fine, and that the only difference truly is just that they're smaller. You see Tippy right now with Mr. Black Collar. So what she's doing right now is stimulating him to eliminate, and then she cleans that all up to make sure that his little bum is dry and clean, and to make sure that no predators have any idea that the puppies are nearby. The puppies also are starting to move around quite a bit better. So this means now in the night we don't get up so often with them, because they are better able to motor themselves back over to mom if they do happen to get turned around and going the wrong way. So we're going to do the puppies in birth order as we always do, and Mr. Light Blue Collar is our firstborn in this litter. This is our cute little caramel tuxedo boy, and we'll just let Tippy do a little cleanup and make sure that she's comfortable with me showing him to you. Yeah, she seems to be okay with that. So this little guy, as I said, is a tuxedo, and what makes him a tuxedo is the white markings on his face and head, around his neck, under his chin, and on his tummy here, and then part way up each of his legs. Very, very pretty pattern. He is a very beautiful blonde baby boy, just the prettiest little puppy. And Mr. Light Blue Collar is now 314 grams. So that is just fantastic. That's such a good weight gain for him. He's doing very nicely. He's a sweet little guy. I don't think I've ever heard him complain. I don't think he's gotten lost at all. Just a little doll. So he is just shy. I think he's 1 or 2 1/100ths of a gram shy of doubling his birth weight. Next is our giant, Mr. Silver Collar. And well, I might not remove someone else from the milk bar. Mr. Silver Collar is no shortage of groceries and reserves. Hey buddy, I love this fellow. He's got that one black eye, which I just think is adorable. So our breeding girl Dottie, who is a half sister to Tippy, another Ripple daughter, she has one black eye as well. I don't know, but that just appeals to me so much. And it goes along with his split ear. So Tippy's ear is split horizontally and Mr. Silver Collar's ear is split vertically. And I just think those half ears are just the cutest little things. And then over here, this ear is black and then it has this teensy bit of a white line down there. And then if you turn it over, you can see inside there's some white in there. Just the most pretty markings, really interesting. And then you can see his party markings on his back. Hi, bud. How you doing? Hi. They're very pretty. He's going to have a beautiful, beautiful set of party markings once he's a little bit older. And you can see his nose is pink, but right around his nose already we're starting to get some of the black. His nose will end up being black. And right here we have a little bit of black coming, and right here. So his nose color will fill in as he gets older. I just think he's so cute when it's pink though. The little pink feet and the little pink noses are so sweet in the little babies. And Mr. Silver Collar, he too has almost doubled his birth weight. So he's 456 grams. He's a pound at 1 week. Oh my goodness, that's such an amazing accomplishment for him. And you see, he is the biggest puppy. But he is one of the puppies who's just short of doubling his birth weight. So that tells us that everything is going just wonderfully in terms of everyone having an equal opportunity at the milk bar. And there's Tippy's going to clean him up because goodness knows I might have given him something that was not according to her liking. She's got to make sure everybody's sparkling clean. Next is Tan Collar Boy. And Tan Collar Boy is right here. This is our little fella who is a chocolate. Hi, buddy. Very pretty. And now you can really see, especially on Red Collar, who's the black, and Tan Collar, who's the chocolate. Look at how these coats are gleaming. It's just a beautiful, beautiful shine on these coats. And part of that comes from having such a nice, good, natural diet. Hey, sweetie. Now on this little fellow, you can see that he's starting to develop some really pretty highlights on the top of his head here. Some sort of caramely brown colors, very nice. And then he's got that adorable little goatee on his chin, just the cutest little thing. Sweet little puppy. And now this is the puppy I've said I don't know if he's a phantom or if he is a sable. And I still don't. You can see there's very weak markings here that look phantom-like. There's tiny little bit of phantom marking here on the side of the face. No chits though, that's the above the eyebrow. And there is phantom markings under the tail in the vent area. So I would say that I would be 75% convinced that this is going to be a chocolate phantom boy. And that means this puppy, oh, there's a big yawn. This puppy's going to change color. This puppy's not going to say dark brown. He's going to go more of a caramel color as his coat clears out. So this is just a puppy we're going to have to keep our eye on and wait and see what happens with him. And Mr. Tan Collar is 335 grams. So again, he's just slightly shy of doubling his birth weight. Next is Black Collar Boy. Hey, buddy. This is our teensy little fellow in the litter. This is the tiny puppy. Oh my goodness, so sweet, being so tiny. And he is a beautiful caramel party. Now, right now, you'll see that the party markings in his caramel coloring are not that dark. But if you look back to the first video, they've already started to darken up, and they will continue to get a little darker as he gets older. So he has two beautiful symmetrical caramel patches on both of his eyes, and then he has a little caramel splash on the top of his head, some nice caramel in behind this ear here, and then quite a lot of the caramel markings all down his back. Really cute little fellow. And black collar, yay, he did double his birth weight. He's the tiniest guy that there is, and he doubled. Yay for black. He is now 268 grams. So quite a difference. He's 268 and the smallest, and silver at 456 is the biggest. So not double in size, but getting pretty darn close there. So that's Mr. Black Collar. We'll give him a prime position here at the milk bar in case he wants to tank up there. Next we have Purple Collar. Now we had a fun little query on our Facebook page, and I hope all of you are following us and have liked our Facebook page. It's Van Isle Doodles, obviously. And in that I had some pictures of the puppies, and I asked our followers, who do you think has gained the most weight over the past week? And everybody guessed Purple Collar, and everybody was correct. At that time, he had gained more than anyone else. He had gained 90 grams at that point. Oh my goodness, he's a little bit of a piggy. And now you can see on his nose that his pink is starting to go away and his brown nose is starting to come in. So he'll have a brown liver rose nose color. Breeders use all sorts of terminology for the nose colors, but basically the nose is either a brown shade or it's black. And if it's black, then you have a red Labradoodle, you have an apricot Labradoodle, a cream Labradoodle, or a black Labradoodle. If you have any shade of brown nose, brown liver, or rose, then you have a dog that is brown, and all of the different colors that come with brown, which includes caramel, and that includes this kind of light caramel, yellow caramel, gold caramel, red caramel. Excuse me. So that's how you know what's what in the Labradoodle world. It all goes by nose color. So this is our beautiful caramel party boy. He has a few less markings than the other one, more color on his head and face. And Purple Collar is 450 grams, almost as big as Silver Collar. Yes, you it's a big corker. So everybody guessed right when they looked at the picture and said, oh yeah, that's the tank, that's the tank. And last, and definitely not least, my favorite color in the whole world is our red collar boy. And this is a black abstract puppy. I absolutely love black dogs. Look at this coat and how it gleams. It is just like having a mirror. This ebony is just beautiful and my absolute favorite. And you can see how much his nose is already filling in. And then the cute little white markings he has. So it just sets him off so beautifully with the white on his nose, under his chin, and then look at all the white on his chest. So he's just a striking puppy. And then all of our toes are at least partially, if not half dipped toes. Looks like we got a little bit of licorice in the icing sugar department. This guy is a cutie pie too. He's a quieter puppy, never pushy, no, not at all. I don't think he's gotten lost either. I don't think I've heard him speak yet. And Mr. Red Collar, he's another puppy who's doubled his birth weight. He is 385 grams. So they're all a beautiful size now, just all doing so well. Lovely, healthy, and happy puppies. And we seldom hear any complaints from any of them, which is really nice because you know when puppies are quiet, that mom's doing a great job feeding them and that everything is being looked after well by our mama dog. I'm just going to move over a bit here so that hopefully you can see them a little bit more. Just Mr. Silver Collar is not interested in eating right now. So that's all the puppies for this week. That's our 1 week update. If you're on our reservation list, you will get an educational video coming your way very soon. And this week we're going to talk about how to set your house up in anticipation of the arrival of your puppy. So we'll give you all sorts of tips and tricks and ideas. We'll give you some suggestions for what you need to look for, and it gives you lots of time to try out different scenarios. So if you think, oh, I'm going to use this door for my puppy to go in and out of, and then you try it for a bit, you imagine it, and then you go, no, you know, this might not be ideal. Instead, we're going to try this idea instead. It's a great opportunity to speak with your kids, get some ideas about how they're going to keep all of their things safe from all of those little piranha teeth that they will come with when you pick them up. Right now, this age is so wonderful. When they're little like this, they have no teeth, and so they can't bite you at all. It's always so fun when they're just little tiny squirts like this, because they can't really do too much to get into trouble. They're almost always really perfectly behaved, so it's a very nice age. So you'll get that video, and we'll go through several things with you, and we'll also tell you a little later about our puppy starter kit. Because we're getting close to the Christmas season and gift giving season, lots of people, or your friends and family, are probably going to want to inundate you with a variety of gifts for your puppy. And while that's all lovely and well intentioned, we want to make sure you know what is and isn't appropriate for your puppy, because there's many things that are available that are simply either not safe or just not the right thing for your puppy, and that isn't going to work well. So we'll help you out with that too. So you can look forward to those videos and that information coming your way in the next week. We'll keep you busy so that the 8 weeks you're waiting for your puppy are just going to fly by. I know they always fly by for me. I'm always so surprised when it's time for them to go. I always think that they should really stay for a bit longer. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, if it's about raw food, if it's about Labradoodles, if it's about setting your house up, please just feel free to ask away in the comments below. I'm always happy to talk to everybody about Labradoodles. And if you liked our video and can give us a thumbs up, terrific. And if you aren't subscribed, please think of doing so. It would be great for us, and I think you'll really enjoy learning all the different things that we try to share with everyone who watches our channel. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week. He's a good girl, Tippy. Good girl, Tippy. Good girl.